If someone had told me last year that a dog training class would lead to the unraveling of my marriage, I'd have laughed it off as absurd. But that's exactly where it started. On a bright Saturday morning, leash in hand, standing beside my wife and our clumsy golden retriever, Boomer. Emily, my wife of 8 years, was the one who insisted on the classes. "Boomer needs structure," she said. "We need this to bond more as a family." Back then, I believed her. I believed everything she said. The first few classes were uneventful. Boomer pulled, barked, and made a general mess of things, but we laughed through it. Emily always had this radiant smile when she was around animals. That's what first drew me to her, the way she could make the whole room feel warm just by entering it. But then came Caleb. He wasn't what I expected a dog trainer to look like. Ex-military, built like a linebacker, with this commanding presence and voice that even the rowdiest dogs seemed to respect. Boomer took to him instantly. So did Emily. At first, I didn't mind. Caleb was friendly, helpful, and seemed genuinely passionate about his work. He complimented Emily on her handling skills, always had tips just for her, and would linger a little too long when adjusting her posture during a command. I chalked it up to his job at first. Things changed slowly. Emily began dressing up for the classes. Nothing over the top, but noticeable. Tight yoga pants, form-fitting tops, even makeup on a Saturday morning. "I just like feeling good," she told me when I asked. But the tone in her voice was different, almost defensive. Then there were the texts. They started innocently, group messages from Caleb about class updates or homework for the dogs. But I'd catch glimpses of private messages when she'd smile at her phone late at night. One time, I caught her typing "can't wait to see you tomorrow" winking face before she quickly turned the screen away. Still, I denied it. I wanted to believe it was nothing. We were just getting older, routines getting stale. Maybe she just needed some attention. But the distance between us kept growing. She became colder at home, always on edge. She began taking Boomer for extra private lessons twice a week, claiming the group classes weren't enough. I offered to join, but she said it'd be too much of a distraction. That stung. One night, she came home late from one of those sessions. Boomer bounded in the house first, tail wagging like always. Emily followed, hair slightly disheveled, smelling like cologne I didn't wear. Her eyes met mine, and for the briefest moment, I saw something flicker: guilt. "Traffic was insane," she muttered, heading straight to the shower. I sat on the couch for an hour that night, not moving, just staring at Boomer as he chewed on his favorite rope toy. Dogs never lie. And I wondered, if Boomer could talk, what would he tell me? The next morning, I checked her phone while she was still asleep. I know, I shouldn't have. But some part of me already knew what I'd find. "Can't stop thinking about last night," Caleb had texted. "You were incredible." Hope he didn't notice anything. My chest tightened. I read the message over and over, hoping it would somehow change. But it didn't. I didn't confront her, not yet. I needed time to understand what was happening, to figure out how the woman I trusted more than anything could be so deceitful. I watched her get dressed, kiss me on the cheek, and head off to another private session. All I could do was watch her walk away. After reading Caleb's message, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling while Emily slept beside me, oblivious or maybe pretending to be. Her breathing was steady, face relaxed, like there was no storm swirling just inches away. I spent the next few days gathering myself, watching her more closely, noting her lies with a detachment that scared me. It was like I was watching someone else's life. She'd say she had a late meeting at work, and I'd already know from her calendar that she was off. She'd come home smelling like sweat and sandalwood, her cheeks flushed in that unmistakable way. The worst part was Boomer. He still wagged his tail when she walked in the door, still looked at her like she was the center of his world. I hated that. I envied him for not knowing. Then came the moment I couldn't ignore. Saturday morning. Emily was getting ready for what she called an extended obedience session at the park. I offered to come along. Her eyes flinched, barely, but I caught it. "Oh, it's just a women-only thing this time." Caleb said the dogs do better when they're not distracted by male energy, she said, tying her shoelaces. I nodded. You know what? I think I'll take Boomer for a hike instead. Just us boys. Her hands paused mid-loop. But he needs to stay on his training schedule. Don't worry, I said, smiling. I've been watching you too. I think I can manage. The lie slipped so easily off her tongue, it made my stomach turn. Fine. I'll just go to the class and observe. Maybe pick up a few things. She looked up at me, eyes wide for a split second before she masked it with a chuckle. You're cute when you're curious. I followed her, discreetly. Parked down the street, waited 10 minutes, then drove after her. She didn't go to the park. She didn't go to any kind of training facility. She drove to Caleb's house. I watched her knock, watched the door open, watched her disappear inside. I waited outside for over an hour, each minute eating away at my resolve. Boomer sat in the passenger seat, head on my lap. I stroked his ears absently, my mind replaying every word, every lie, every moment I thought meant something. Finally, I stepped out. I rang the doorbell like any guest would. It took a while, but the door opened. Caleb answered, shirtless, sweat glistening on his chest. Behind him, I saw Emily on the couch, wearing nothing but a blanket, clutching it to her like modesty mattered now. The silence stretched. Hey, Caleb said, confused. You lost or something? Emily gasped when she saw me. Matt. Boomer was overdue for a lesson, I said quietly. Thought I'd see how the pros do it. Caleb's confidence faltered just a bit, his jaw tightening. Emily stood up, mouth opening and closing, but no words came out. I held her gaze. There was no anger in mine, just sadness. A tired, heavy sadness. I just needed to see it for myself, I said. To make it real. Caleb stepped forward, trying to put on a brave face. Look, man. Don't, I said, holding up a hand. Don't act like this is some misunderstanding. I turned to Emily. I would have done anything for you. You know that, right? She nodded, lips trembling. I kept asking myself what I did wrong. What I missed. But maybe it wasn't about me at all. Maybe it was about you. About whatever hole in you this guy filled for 5 minutes at a time. Her face crumpled. Matt, please, I never meant for it to. Don't say it wasn't real, I cut in. Don't insult me with that. I turned and walked away, Boomer trailing behind me. I didn't slam the door. I didn't shout. I didn't need to. That night, I packed. Not everything. Just enough. I didn't tell her where I was going, and she didn't call. 2 weeks later, I filed. Irreconcilable differences. There were no dramatic courtroom scenes, no shouting matches. Just silence. We divided things civilly, almost mechanically. I took Boomer, of course. He was the one part of the life we built that hadn't betrayed me. Now, months later, I live in a smaller place, closer to the trails. Boomer and I hike almost every morning. The silence isn't so painful anymore. It's honest. Peaceful. Sometimes I think about Emily. About how easily love can morph into something unrecognizable when trust dies. But I also think about who I'm becoming, who I was always meant to be when I wasn't orbiting someone else's needs. In the end, betrayal taught me more about loyalty than love ever did. And Boomer? He's still learning to sit, still chasing squirrels, still by my side. Faithful. Constant. Off leash, but never lost.